So that is about first point. So date is fine. And we should also check for the duplicate records. So if there are any with the same party ID, if we have two records, so we can't update like that. So we should remove any one of the record and then we should update. We should upload then only. So so we can't put a duplicate data. So that will again cause us error. So even while creating, if we give same set of data, and then if system if at object level, if it doesn't if it doesn't sometimes if we allow duplicates like for custom object size, it can allow even with this if it is a duplicate. But if it's not allowing a duplicate, so then also we need to remove this any duplicate rows. Okay. And the decimal places we need to remove for any numbers, like we saw for like this, right? 3 plus 4. So if we have anything in this format, so we need to go to this number formatting. Okay. And then we need to choose and we need to eliminate these zeros for number fields, especially for party IDs, right? Party ID or ID fields. So we need to follow this, and might be similar for currency fields also. Okay, and for country field, we should pass country code. Start. So always we should test with one record or two records. So once it is successful, so then only we should go with multiple records or bulk records. So even if it is a if file looks like everything is correct, still we should test with one record and then we should go with the bulk records. Because if something errored, right, so we can avoid some partial imports, all that. It is always better to start with the few records and then bulk records. And like if we should not use the same file for same file means with the same data, we don't need, we should not import again onto the same object. So that can cause errors or it can cause duplicates. So once the import is completed, we need to verify the changes, at least few set of records, whether all the data got imported or not. So in the SUI, we need to check that. In case if we want to test from backend, like we can use export and then we can check the related data. Okay, alternate keys, see, for example, if we have a DCL, like we are in some custom object event underscore C, and if we want and DC account is a DCL in event, right? So if you want to DCL of account ID, so we should we should check respective party ID of that account in party table or from account export. So we should get that ID, account ID or account party ID. So that we need to give to this DCL. Okay, and for DCLs, usually it will be underscore ID underscore C. So whenever we are trying to import DCL values, we should pass the ID. We should not pass the name. So if we are importing for account DCL, account custom DCL. So we should pass account ID, not the account name. So that is one thing to remember. And if we are importing accounts, contacts, users, right? So we need to register original system. So it can be like that legacy systems. So we need to register that origin system first, and then only we should use this origin system. And reference number can be that the legacy system number. So these are all like few, and we should like also few things. Enable checkbox. So enable custom logic, custom business logic checkbox. So that we should enable if we have import, if we have any related script depending on the this data, whatever we are importing, right? So if any dependency on this fields, so then we should always use that checkbox. And if we enable high volume import, then again it will be automatically disabled. Enable checkbox. So that is one point. And most some common scenarios for right. So like in one sheet we might have right party ID, and then maybe we have party name. Okay, so maybe consider this. Okay, so like this we have some information, and in another table, like suppose this is a like our file, or yeah, this is our file. So this we got, consider this we got from export, and customer just gave like party name. He just gave party name, and then we have some other fields like party type, then custom attributes. Okay, so something like this we may have fields. Okay, so now we need to import this one, right? So we need to import this data to account object. So consider this party records are for account. Okay, so because maybe you can include one more field, party type. So this is called or. Okay, and same maybe I'll use here. Okay, or. So now to import into account object or organization object, so I need party ID. So but I have only party name. So how can I get a party ID for the respective name? So one way is, so you need to get manually. Okay, so we need to check, like we'll check for this part, test one, what is the value, and then that value will take, and then we'll paste it here, right? So this is easy because since we have only 4 or 5 records, and then we can just use manually. But what if we have some 10 lakhs or something like 5 lakhs or some lakhs of data? So we can't check manually, right? So in that case, we can use one formula called VLookup in Excel. So, so for that, we can use equal to. So to write any of the formulas, right, we can use this equal to, and then we have one function for VLookup. This VLookup is to do this kind of operations. So it can look for the other values, right, from some other tables. So here I have the sheet, the values in other sheet, but even if my values in other Excel sheet, other Excel workbook, so from that also we can select. So we have one function called VLookup. Okay. So it looks for the value in the leftmost column of the table and returns the value in the same row for the column you specify. Okay. So this is the lookup, the formula syntax. And here we have 4 parameters. So one is lookup value. So with which value we need to look up. So with test one, I need to search party ID, right? So in this table, my reference value is test one, and that I selected, comma, and then table array. So I have this table array. So where I have party ID and party name, party type, everything, right? So I'll select this 3 table array. Okay, so it's selected from sheet 1 A to C columns. Okay, starting with A and to C. So this is how it selected the array. Then again, comma, column index. So okay, so which value we want? Okay, so or okay, so first we'll select this party type, and then we'll check for so as we see, it will select the left columns only. So that's why I just select, because we need to look the respective value of test one, whether it's from this side. So that's why I just selected these 2, and we'll see. The next parameter is okay, it seems. So we have selected the table. Okay, so that is A, not A to C, it is B to C. Okay. We'll again select comma B to C. So it selected that this array, and now column index number. So which value we need to return. So okay, something got changed. No, this is not from sheet 2. So this should be from sheet 1. One party party type. Okay, then I'll select B to C, right? And I want index number, the second one. So from this B column, right? So the second one I want. So for that I'll choose 2 index. And then the last one is true match, like approximate or exact match. So if I select 0, right? So it will be exact. So 0 means, I think, exact match. Okay, we'll see. Then I'll select then I will select enter. So it will display all the types. Okay, party type. Okay, but now I want party ID also, right? I'll select that as one more column, and in party ID I'll just put the same values here. So now we'll see. So I'm again writing one more formula for party ID. VLookup of party name, comma, from sheet 1, party ID, no, from B2, D I'll take, and I'm referring this one, and I want party ID, so that I'll give from B, it is third index, right? So I'll give party IDs in third index. So I'll give 3, 0. So I got the respective party IDs. So if you see, the respective party IDs will be available here. So like this, we can do using VLookup. And this similar use case maybe will helpful for DCLs. So suppose in your DCLs, so you might have just ID, but you don't have like the name. So to find out the name, you can use the same concept, lookup concept, and then for the respective ID, you can just look up from like, so if you have account DCL and you have account ID, right? To fetch the name, you need to go to the account export. So there you have account name and account ID, party ID, and from that you can get using this formula. Okay, so